We are pleased to announce that for Spring/Summer 2020, the Belstaff Crosby jacket is back in the Belstaff lineup. We have no idea why this jacket keeps disappearing and then reappearing as it has done at several points over the previous years with this brand, because whenever they have it in the range, it's always the best-selling jacket in the lineup, and I think that this will be exactly the same for this year. They've tinkered around with the weight of it, the finish of it, the feel of it, but ultimately what it really stands for relative to the other two iconic Belstaff jackets, the shortcut Brooklands and the long-length, full-length Trialmaster jacket, is it's a sort of combination blend of both, if you like. So it's a mid-length jacket for one, and that means that it still has this nice Belstaff traditional look to it, but it has slightly, I think, more practicality than the shorter cut Brooklands, offering you just a little bit more coverage essentially, and I really like the styling of it. It's not quite so traditional compared to the Trialmaster Pro in my view, but it's just a really great jacket, and it's traditionally come in a sort of slightly lighter weight as well than the Trialmaster Pro, so that always comes with a removable liner and really is designed for kind of winter use as well, whereas this one doesn't have a liner. You can still use it in winter by layering up, but in the summer it's slightly lighter weight. And for 2020, the big difference really is that they have incorporated an 8-ounce TekWax fabric into the finish of the garment. So wax cotton in its simplest form is just cotton which is sort of soaked with wax, and that provides a barrier. And of course the wax itself does give you some extra degree of fray resistance, but not really outright abrasion resistance. And so the only way Belstaff previously have been able to achieve CE approval is by putting in protective abrasion resistant segments underneath key impact zones, whereas for this particular TekWax fabric, it's actually a nylon that is very hard wearing and abrasion resistant interwoven with the cotton, and it's therefore one layer, and this makes it something that's lighter, and it really is actually quite a good step forwards because you get all the great qualities of a wax cotton garment, but it doesn't do anything to detract from achieving CE level A approval. It's a very highly abrasion resistant jacket despite looking and feeling like a traditional Belstaff. So it's a great thing. And the big thing about this one over previous collections we've seen recently is that it's just a lovely finish. It's not viscous and tacky to the touch. So some of the previous Belstaffs that were CE approved did have that. Fabric wasn't quite as sort of refined, if you like, as this, and I think that this is just perfect. You get everything you would want with a Belstaff. The thing about the Crosby that I like as well is it comes in at $475, which I know is not cheap, but it is £100 less than the Trialmaster. And really, you are getting something that's just a little bit lighter weight generally, does away with that removable inner lining, as I said, but basically covers most of the same boxes. So it's actually, nowadays, with the CE approval, the abrasion resistance, the waterproof MyPorex membrane that sits underneath this cotton layer, the armour, it's actually a very technically accomplished jacket, despite looking like a fantastic Belstaff that you would want to buy just to wear off the bike. So you really get the best of both worlds. And Belstaff, as I'm sure you know, have always been the flag bearers of this. And for me, they remain the best at doing this. And that is why they command a premium, because there is still nothing like a Belstaff. It is as simple as that. They last you for ages. My Belstaff jackets have been going ever since I started Urban Rider, and that was 12 years ago. And I still have the same ones to date. So the actual garment itself, in terms of this weatherproofing element, the cotton on the outside with the wax in it is going to be quite a good primary resistance towards water. It's going to stop the fabric itself soaking and getting wet. Eventually it may, but you've always got underneath that this drop liner, this MyPorex seam sealed, waterproof and breathable membrane, and this is going to help regulate humidity, moisture levels, both from within if it's warm so that you don't get too clammy, and also preventing water from getting in when it's wet on the outside. And underneath you also have the armour in the pockets, which are Velcro access pockets on the shoulders and elbows, and it's D3O level 1 CE approved stuff. That's easily removable if you need it to be removed. If you want to wear it off the bike, you can do so very easily. There is also a pocket, so you can upgrade for D3O back protection if you want to go for a full set of the armour. Otherwise, turning to the jacket and looking at the specifics, what you essentially get is what you see. You have 4 front pockets and they have the overlay flaps, which help, of course, for the waterproofing. The Belstaff branding is just spot on in this garment. You get it engraved into these sort of vintage brass effect snaps, which are spring-loaded, so they feel premium, they're easy to operate, and they tend to just work for years and years and years. And you have the Belstaff logo with a lovely gold patch emblem on the left sleeve as well, and then a couple of places like on the roll bar, just on the neck piece too. Little Union Jack flag on the slightly slanted pocket. The pocket is slanted deliberately, that's not a manufacturing error. It's so that you can get easy access whilst you're sat on the bike. You'll notice these 2 lower snaps are rubberized, and that's to stop any abrasion or scratching of your tank when you're leant over, so that's a nice little detail there. The adjustment on this jacket comes by virtue of the 2 half belts you have either side on the waist, and there are several different options. You can tailor it in to fit as required. So although there are belts, it's not one single belt like you get with the Trialmaster Pro, and I actually much prefer this. I think it's sleeker and a little bit less fussy, but I know a lot of people really like the look of the Trialmaster, so it's just horses for courses. Some people like one, and there's no right or wrong there. When it comes to these patches, they are reinforced, of course, because you've got an extra layer. You get the double stitching throughout, so you've got a good degree of tensile strength, which is going to help in the event of an accident. And if you look at the neck piece, you'll notice it's a little bit elevated, and this has a corduroy lining to it, so you can get it done up nice and tight, yet still keep it being really comfortable. Same with the cuffs as well, which both have a couple of different snaps for adjustability. As we go down inside the jacket, underneath this roll bar piece, you're going to notice you've got a storm flap essentially on this central zipper section. So we have one flap on the outside, which overlays this secondary flap which covers the zip, and that has a storm flap on it. So you'll see that it's folded back and sewn in on itself. So if any water is able to get through this first layer, you're going to have the storm flap preventing the water from getting through to the zip itself. It's simply going to be channeled down to the bottom of the jacket, and it's got very low probability, I think, of being able to get through this zip and into you. So it's actually, again, a surprisingly good jacket for day-to-day riding, really throughout the year, all weather. The weight of it is really spot on, I would say, for UK climate. So it's great for anything from winter with an extra layer on all the way through to the sort of mid part of summer. I wouldn't say this is something you're going to want to wear on a stupidly hot day, but then those days really the only thing you can wear and be comfortable is a mesh jacket. Check out the Temple jacket, that's coming up in another review shortly. That is a fantastic garment from Belstaff, and that is a mesh jacket. So this zipper is nice, sturdy, and it works really easily. You've got this YKK vertically accessed zip on the inside of the chest pocket, the traditional Belstaff tartan lining, and that's obviously on the entirety of the inner part of the jacket. And it just looks really good. In terms of the sizing, the fit of it, Belstaff have revised up the sizing slightly, so do check the guide over at urbanrider.co.uk. Here I'm in the large with a 42-inch chest, and there's a little bit of room to play with, so it's not as snug as it was in previous collections. So I'd say it's gone up about half a size from before, but it's all very straightforward. Just head over to urbanrider.co.uk and check the size guide, and if you're still stuck, you can call us, you can email us, come in the store and try one on. So these are in stock and available now. Any questions, comments, feedback, anything at all, please leave that in the section below, and do subscribe to our channel to be the first to find out about the world's finest riding gear. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon. Goodbye.